The fact that she playing this cat and mouse game with you is really feeling like a green card play right now, bro. Like she's stringing you along this whole way.
Why is Rob's friend actually trying to convince us that Sophie's in this relationship only for a green card? I mean, come on. From meeting ex-girlfriends to highly questionable fathers, this episode really doesn't hold back.
Well, no, you're not gonna charge him.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So how you think I make money?
I don't know how you make money. Don't you get money from your properties?
Not much.
I've got to say, I like seeing John in protective Big Brother mode, but it does feel like this is deeply rooted in past childhood trauma, doesn't it? Now, before we dive into that, let's just start with the absolute show mess that's Rob and Sophie. So we left these two, as ever, in an absolute shambles. And when we join Rob today at the gym, he's accompanied by his old friend Tarai, who's visiting from LA. Now, as the two work out, Tarai jumps straight into it. He asks Rob when he's gonna move back to LA.
To be honest with you, I really have been thinking about moving back.
For real?
I mean, Austin was just kind of a letdown. A lot of why I moved out here was so Sophie and I could kind of start our lives together.
What a letdown Austin has been. I mean, he's gained an indoor bathroom, but he's kind of lost a wife. Not a trade-off he wanted, it seems. Look, Rob was happy in LA, right? I think we all can see that. But he moved to Austin for Sophie. Only since arriving, all they've done is fight. She's spent more time away from the apartment than in it with me, he tells Tarai. But the thing is, Rob, that's not Austin's fault. That's your fault. It's you who's the knob. Austin's a letdown because you're a letdown of a husband. But hearing Rob's version of events, hearing that Sophie's barely spending any time with Rob, instantly makes Tarai, who already had his suspicions about Sophie, even more suspicious.
So when did she get her green card?
She hasn't gotten it yet.
So when did y'all file for her green card? Was it before or after she moved out?
It's before.
Tarai tells Rob that if he were to end things with Sophie right now, then she'd be made to leave the States. But Rob isn't ready to have that conversation yet. He still has hope that he may be able to fix things with Sophie. But this answer doesn't seem to appease Tarai. He turns detective on us. He starts to ask whether Sophie needs to be physically living with Rob in order to be eligible to get her green card. And Rob replies that, well, her name is on the lease, so legally she's okay, which only serves to make Sophie look even more guilty in Tarai's eyes.
The fact that she playing this cat and mouse game with you is really feeling like a green card play right now, bro. Like she's stringing you along this whole way.
Tarai's definitely trying his best to stir the pot. He's clutching at straws, desperately trying to make his friend look like the good guy and Sophie look like the villain. The thing is, his opinion is flawed. I'm sorry, it's flawed. Sophie loves Rob, loves him to a fault. Like, that much is clear for us all to see, surely. And I think it says everything you need to know that even Rob doesn't believe Tarai's theory.
If she really wanted a green card, she'd have found some rich sucker. I'm like, why would you choose a guy who doesn't have a bathroom in his apartment?
It's a rare moment of intelligence from Rob. Like, he's right, she didn't come here for a visa. Sorry, but she didn't. Just think about it. This is a woman from a wealthy family from the UK. She's not coming from a place with limited opportunities or dire living conditions. She crossed an ocean, gave up what seemed to be a comfortable lifestyle to downgrade her life living with Rob. She had a better lifestyle back at home. So to say that she only came here for a green card is massively oversimplifying and ignoring the real problems in this relationship. Now, on that topic, talking about their problems, on the other side of town, we join Sophie, her mum and her friend Kay as she opens up about why exactly she doesn't want to leave Rob.
If I leave Rob, I don't want to I have to I don't know if I can stay here, if I can go home, and I feel like I'm You know, I have you, I have my friends here.
I know.
I have a life here.
Sophie's being honest here, right? She's saying she likes life in America. That's part of the reason she wants to stay. That's just real talk. That's honesty. Of course she likes living in Austin. It's great. But that isn't her sole reason for wanting to stay. It's just a part of it. The other part, she says, is she loves him. But as far as everyone else is concerned, love just isn't enough.
If you want to stay with him just for love, which some, and no disrespect to you, but stupid bitches do that, then you've got to accept he ain't changing, period. This is what you're going to have to put up with forever.
Yeah, Sophie's mum, even though we know she's a little crazy, we know there's some wild stuff going on off screen at the moment, but what she's just said is bang on the money. It's completely accurate. Rob isn't changing. He's never gonna change. So it's up to Sophie to accept that and be okay with that for the rest of her marriage, or move on. The ball's firmly in her court. It's her decision to make. So what's she gonna do?
It's like I don't even see like the good parts I loved anymore. I just see this person who's always angry and not doing anything to make me happy, and just all the traits I liked is not there.
And that recollection, thinking back to how happy she used to be but no longer is enough to make Sophie burst out in tears. Yeah, sorry Tarai, but just watch this and tell me Sophie doesn't love Rob. If this has all just been for a green card, then this girl deserves an Oscar. Now, speaking of happiness, or lack thereof, let's just turn our attention to Kobe and Emily. Just as things seem to be going well, they seem to be happy, we join them in this episode on the beach as Emily has arranged to meet up with Kobe's ex.
Today we're going to Semi Beach in Limbe to meet up with Kobe's ex-girlfriend, who he was with for 7 years, and just, see if they were still dating when he knocked me up.
Wow, the way that she just said that was so calm. Almost as if that isn't the most dramatic piece of information she's about to find out. Like, what other skeletons is she expecting in Kobe's closet? Now, obviously Kobe's unhappy with Emily's plan. To him, he sees it as Emily showing a distinct lack of trust in him. And sure, while I understand that argument, while it may be true, could it also be that he's very worried what his ex may be about to reveal?
Kobe had told me that he was not with anybody when I met him, and so obviously I believe my husband. But then his best friend, when I come to Africa, says that Kobe was still with his ex-girlfriend.
So as the pair find a spot at the beach to wait for his ex's arrival, Kobe questions Emily and asks why she can't just trust his word. Why can't she just let this go? But, interestingly, he also asks her what she'd do if the news were to be the worst. And surprisingly, Emily has a very good answer to that.
What would you do if she tell you, okay, well, we're still together before everyone else met you?
And I would say, thank you for meeting us, and then I would take it up with you.
And while in theory, on paper, that is the perfect way to handle that situation, something tells me if it were to happen, she probably wouldn't be that calm. Now, the fact that Kobe just won't let this go is definitely starting to make it feel like he perhaps does have something to hide. And Emily tries to help him to understand her viewpoint by reversing the roles. She asks him how he'd react if he were to find out she'd been secretly seeing someone at the same time they first started dating.
When I find out for myself, that's it.
Exactly, I'm finding out for myself. I feel like Kobe's not happy about me digging into the past.
Look, Kobe hasn't exactly given Emily a reason not to trust him, but the question is, why would his friends just make that up? Why would they say it if it wasn't true? They're happily married with kids, so why would Kobe's best friend try to jeopardize that? Well, as the two of them sit there waiting for the ex to show up, unfortunately, the episode ends just as the ex appears on the horizon.
Okay, is that her? Did she bring a friend? Which one is she? Which one is she? Tell me now.
Yeah, based on the preview for next week's episode, it looks like there might be a bit of drama in store. Now, let's shift focus from one ambiguous situation to another. We join Patrick, Thais and John the morning after the night before.
John stayed over last night after we got some drinks because he didn't make a reservation for a hotel because he assumed he could just stay with us.
Yeah, Thais definitely isn't happy. She isn't happy with John just gate crashing and staying with them, and she wasn't happy that her birthday was hijacked by John's arrival. Patrick chose to go out and have a drink with his brother rather than celebrate her birthday with her. But John, in typical John fashion, has taken things to the extreme. He's managed to further annoy Thais in a way that only John could.
You ate the cake with your hands?
Yeah.
That's nasty. John, have you never heard of a spoon? No wonder Thais is unhappy. Like, who does that? That was her birthday cake. Now, after making John wash up the stack of dishes that had been left in the sink by way of punishment, we join the three of them later on that day as they're headed off to Patrick's dad's ranch.
We're gonna go see if that's gonna be a good spot for the party for Elise.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just because it's like a big space, you can have a lot of people.
John and Thais are both equally unhappy with this plan. Now, keep in mind, both of them know Patrick's dad well. He was John's stepdad. They spent many years together, not getting along when John was younger. And, of course, we've already seen firsthand how Thais has reacted to him. And it doesn't help matters that his ranch is over 2 hours away. Like, Thais and John, neither of them can understand why on earth Patrick wants to have Elise's party there.
I'm just worried. I really know Jose, and I'm very concerned that, he's going to charge Patrick, ask for something, as always he does.
This suspicion of Jose is hardly new. It's been an issue for Thais for as long as she's known Patrick. But perhaps the most surprising thing of all is that John agrees with Thais on this. He's worried that his old stepdad might be trying to take advantage of Patrick.
I want to make sure Jose isn't up to anything because he likes his money. He'll do anything to get it. Yeah, he's got a big heart, and, he's got money to give him.
Now, not only is it a long drive to get to Jose's ranch, but it's also quite rural. Like, there's lots of bumpy dirt roads. And after hours of driving, Thais is desperate to go to the bathroom. Pull over, she instructs Patrick. I need to go right here behind the car.
I can't. I beat my feet.
Careful, Thais. That right there sounds very much like Creepy Gino's wet dream. Now, when they eventually arrive at Jose's ranch, you can immediately sense John's tension. He really doesn't like Jose. It really feels like there's some lingering underlying childhood trauma here.
Big, huh?
Huh?
Big now, huh?
Yeah.
How you been? Good?
Good.
How awkward is that? John's giving him the death stare. John informs us that it's been 20 years since they last saw each other, and they never had a good relationship. You can't trust this guy, John tells us. This is the same man that gave me a moped for my birthday, then a few months later sold it behind my back, he tells us. Jose always lets people down. And, John says, he's always about his money. And unfortunately, within only a few minutes of arriving, we see just how well John knows Jose.
$150 for 1 meter square.
So what do you want to do?
That little wall. Oh, around the house and paint.
Why does that have to happen?
Why does that need to happen? Patrick asks. Well, the answer is, Patrick, it doesn't. None of the long list of things that Jose is asking for, wants money for, seem urgent. Like, he wants to fix little walls, he wants to put paving around places, he wants to trim the trees. There's more painting he expects. None of these seem like urgent tasks. They're certainly not the kinds of tasks that would inhibit or prevent a baby's party from being held there. So the question is, why is he bringing it up?
I need the money, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was assuming. You're asking us to pay for all of it.
Well, if I'm not got a charge for the place.
And just like clockwork, as both Thais and John predicted, Jose brings up the idea of charging them to use his home. But, for as predictable as it may have been, hearing Jose say this infuriates John. Like, he's already on edge because of their clearly tense history, and this has just set him over the edge. He calls him out immediately.
Well, no, you're not gonna charge him.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how you think I make money?
I don't know how you make money. Don't you get money from your properties?
Not much.
Jose's a landlord. He has multiple rental properties. He gets rental income each month. That, of course, includes the rental property that he charges Patrick and Thais for. Like, something isn't adding up here. Why is this man who owns a large ranch? Why is a man who's wearing nice clothes, as John points out, trying to depict himself as this poor old man that needs help? Where's his own money? This almost feels like a power play. It feels like Jose expects money just because Patrick's his son. He feels almost entitled to it. But Thais is sick of that attitude from him.
Why you ask too much for things?
Probably because I need help with the money.
I don't know, Thais. I smell bull.
You know it's bad when John and Thais are actually on the same side. Now, with the two of them joining forces against his dad, Patrick feels the need to even things up. He jumps to his dad's defence. That's my dad, that's family, and that's just what you do for family, Patrick argues. But family should be a two-way street. It's starting to feel like Patrick might be overcompensating. It's as if he's letting his dad take advantage, wrongly thinking, that it's helping them to rebuild the bond that they lost when Jose walked out on him as a child.
Yeah, I just don't know why you expect so much from him when you weren't even there for him, you know?
Oh, John, don't say that.
It's true.
Huh.
Ouch, that might not be nice to hear, that might hurt. But if Thais and John, two people from totally opposite ends of the spectrum normally, both agree about this, I think there's some truth to it. Maybe the time has come for Patrick to stand up to his dad, say no to his demands.